got going here? Okay. All right, who'd like to tell me about A? Does it work in Y or doesn't it work in Y? Okay, Jahan, why does it work or why doesn't it work?
I don't think it works because, well, if you just look at the graph, you can see that A is an acute angle, while B is an obtuse angle.
Okay, good. All right. Why does or doesn't B work? Or does it work? Haley, does B work?
It doesn't,
Why?
because it's a flat line.
It's a flat line, okay? That would be for what kind of angles?
Complementary.
What would B be equation for? So it would be complementary angles, right? Okay. All right, how about C? Simone, why do you think C works?
I think C works because it's like the whole line is like 180, like half. So if you do like 90 divided by, not 90 subtract A, it'll be B.
But if what you're thinking is this whole thing subtract A is going to be B, and you told me the whole thing was what? What's the whole thing, Simone?
180?
180. So if I take this 180 and subtract the A, that's going to give me B. Not 90 subtract the A to give me B, right? Because A plus B is equaling, what is A plus B equaling? 180. 180. So D works. Okay, how about E?
I picked A and E.
Okay, why did you pick E?
Because it says that the whole thing minus angle A will equal angle B, and that is correct.
Hello? Sure. Okay, thanks. Bye. Hayden, do you know where the library is?
Yeah.
At the end of the hall, take your Chromebook with you, and she's gonna give you an iPad.
You were exactly right. So E works. How about F? If I take B and subtract
Because that is
A,
saying
yeah. Good.
that the whole thing is angle B minus angle A, and that
Right.
would be right.
That wouldn't make sense for it to equal 180, would it? Good job. All right. Which equation represents the relationship between the angles and the figure? Go. Move them way out of the way if you don't want to use them. So I don't accidentally think that you picked a letter that you didn't. All right, it keeps disappearing and coming back. Interesting. Okay, does A work?
It's trying to trick you.
Yeah, it is. You should see the screen. It keeps popping back and forth.
Yes.
Does A work?
Yes.
Why, Jahan?
Because, well, there's two B's and there's 88, and the two B's, when they're together, well, basically, with the 88 and the two B's, that will make 180. So if you take one of the B's out, it would
Do you know that the B is 90?
I didn't think of that.
No,
Nope.
I never said the B.
So will
No,
A work?
Cause
If all I take is 88 and add B to it, am I getting 180?
No,
No.
I'm saying the two B's.
Okay, but I asked, you said A worked.
Yeah,
Does A work?
yeah, cause I'm saying if you take a one,
The only way it'll work is if that B is 90. These three angles equal 180. But is it possible for B to be 90? Can B be 90? Now think about it. Can B be 90? Because that would be saying this is 90, this is 90, and this is 88. Is that possible? Jahan, it's
It would have to
okay.
be a right angle anyways.
Jahan, it's okay. This is where we learn. Because you were thinking if I divide it by 2, that would give me 90. Okay, but you can't do that. It's saying those three angles equal 188 or 180. Okay? All right, so A doesn't work. Does B work?
No,
What's wrong with B?
it only means one.
It only includes one A or one B.
Yep. How about C?
No.
No, because the whole thing equals 180.
Okay, so our correct answer is D.
D.
Okay? And it is easy to make the assumption if I divide by 2, that's going to be 90, so 88 plus B must equal 90. That's why it's there, because that's a common assumption to make. Okay? And do we understand why it doesn't work? Good.
Yes.
Okay? They put those wrong answers there for a reason. All right. Segments AB, EF, CD intersect at point C, and angle ACD is a right angle. Find the value of G. Find the value of
I think I
G.
know how to do this one.
Okay, do it on your screen. So you don't give it away to somebody else. Give it away to you. Think about what you see there. What do you see? Do you see the right angle? Okay, can you use that information to do anything with trying to find G? Look at G and 53 degrees, or angle DCE. What can you tell me about those two? There we go. Oh, look at Christina finding all the angles for me. How did you know we were going to do that next? Because it's a puzzle and I don't like leaving blanks. Good. All right. So it looks like you saw that this, let's try that again. This right here is another right angle, right? So if we know one piece is 53, we can easily find the G, right? 90 minus 53 gives us 37. So this is 37 degrees. All right. What is angle F?
Isn't it 37 as well?
Why is it 37 degrees? I guess that's technically not angle F, but angle ACF is 37 degrees. Why?
Because this is a vertical angle.
Yep.
Each side of it has to be equal to the other.
Okay. Can we figure out angle FCB?
Yes.
How can we do that?
37
Okay, here's
You
this.
would add the 53 to the 90.
There you go. This and this is the same as this and this,
Because it's a vertical
because
angle.
it's a vertical angle.
I
So
think
that would
vertical
give
angles are
me,
my favorite type of angle.
well, you're gonna see them a lot and you're gonna use them a lot. So that gave us 143. So just like that, we could figure out all the angles. Question, Catherine?
I actually did it a different way.
Okay, wait a minute. Just hang on a minute, Matthew. What?
I thought it was different.
Okay, go ahead, Rachel.
I thought it, 53 plus 90 equals 143, and then 180 minus 143 equals 37.
Okay, all right, that works as well. To find this 37 right here. Okay, yep, that works as well. Matthew, what did you think? What was your thought process?
I took the 90 degrees
Uh-huh.
from angle ACD
Uh-huh.
and added it to the 53 degrees of angle DCE. Then I subtracted that number, which was 143 degrees, from 180 degrees, and I got 37 degrees.
Okay. You and Rachel had like thoughts there. All right, good job. Let's try number 4 now. Select all the expressions that are the result of decreasing x by 80%. Decreasing x by 80%. So are the rest of you still thinking, or are we stuck? Let's see, one question mark. All right, there we go. I got a couple more. All right, who would like to plead A's case? Is A right or is A wrong?
Wrong.
Why, Matthew?
Because unlike C, where they're subtracting 20 hundredths from 100 to get 80 hundredths, which would be 80%, they just say 20 hundredths times X. That
Okay,
would
go
be
back
right.
and go back and read the problem.
Okay.
If I'm saving 80%, what percent am I going to pay? That's in a sense what they're saying, right? I decrease the price by 80%. What percent am I gonna pay? 20%. Tell me about A. Is 20 over 100 20%? How do we write percentages as fractions? Write it over 100. What does percent mean? Per 100. Okay?
It's out of 100.
So A works because that is 20%. We are decreasing it by 80%, so the magic number we're looking for is 20%. Anything that equals 20%. Okay? Does B equal 20%? Okay? Does this mean 100% of X?
Yes.
Does this mean 80% of X?
Yes.
So if I take 100% of X and take away 80% of X, what am I left with?
20% X.
20% of X, and that's what we're paying, right? Okay, how about C? What does that leave me? This is 80% of X. So that one does not work. How about D? Is that 80% again? Okay. How about E?
Yeah.
Yes, E works. Because 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2. And isn't 0.2 equal to 20%? That was our magic number, right? All right. So A, B, and E. Andre is solving the equation 4 times the quantity x plus 3 halves equals 7. He says I can subtract 3 halves from each side to get 4x equals 11 halves, and then divide by 4 to get x equals 11 eighths. Kieran says, I think you made a mistake. How can Kieran know for sure that Andre's solution is incorrect? What's one sure way that you can tell if somebody's answer is right or wrong? No. How do you prove if if your answer is right? Checking it by plugging it in, right? Okay. So what would the answer be here? Substitute it in. So let's do that off to the side and see if his answer is right or not. So we're going to take 4 times, he said it was 11 eighths. 11 eighths plus 3 halves. And that is supposed to equal 7. What's 11 eighths plus 3 halves? How do we add fractions? Okay, so what's our common denominator going to be? 8. So this is going to become 12 eighths. So 12 plus 11 is? 23 eighths times 4 over 1. Can I cancel numerator to denominator? That goes once, that goes twice. So does 23 over 2 equal 7? Is that true?
No.
Neat. Okay, so he did make a mistake. John, where's his mistake? You're good at this.
You skipped the, take away the parentheses.
He didn't do parentheses. He didn't get rid of parentheses first. He jumped straight to subtracting the 3 halves. Okay? Good job.
So for the is he skipped over parentheses.
He skipped getting rid of parentheses first. Or he didn't get rid of parentheses first.
I need more time.
You're fine, I'm still writing. There you go.
He went straight to addition.
What questions do you have for me? Did anybody think of it different? Anybody think of a different way to tell he was wrong?
Doing it yourself?
Doing it yourself, hoping that you're doing it right? Okay? And that's generally what I do when I'm given a problem, find the error, is I go ahead and do it myself and then see what's different about their way and my way. Not that I'm always right.
How many problems are there?
Oh, you're gonna love 5. or 6. You're gonna love 6. There's 5 parts. There's 7 problems. All right, here we go. Yes, Natalie. Sam, do you want to go to the nurse? Yes? Okay, go ahead and go.
Do I need to take my stuff?
Yeah, go ahead and take your stuff just in case they call home when you go home. Let me see if you got a fever before you go. Did you eat lunch? Not really. Did you eat breakfast? Okay, you don't have a fever, so go ahead and take your stuff and go, and then call home for you. Okay, here we go.
Part A, out of 12.
Solve it.
Why is there so many parts to number?
Is that 1/7 X or?
That's 1/7 X.
Did you choose the, how many parts there are?
What?
Did you choose how many parts there are?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I was about to say probably.
Any subtraction? Any parentheses? Do we have the variables on one side and the constants on the other? Okay, so what needs to move? All right, but we're talking fractions. If I write this as 3/4 on this side, what do I need to change it to be able to subtract it? 6/8. So I'm gonna go ahead and write it as 6/8. Cause is 3/4 the same thing as 6/8? Okay, so I end up with 1/7 X equals 3/8. Now what?
3
Okay, I can divide by 1/7, but can I take a shortcut and multiply by 7?
Sure.
Is that the same thing as dividing by 1/7? Y'all see that now? Okay, so this becomes X, and this becomes 21/8. Can we just leave it that way? Sure.
I got 2 5/8.
2 5/8 if you simplify it. And if I plug it back in, let's see, I get 3/8 plus 3/4 is gonna be 9/8. Questions? DeLeon, how we doing on this? Can you see the board well enough? Okay. Are you writing it on your paper? Okay. Max, you okay with it?
I can't see the board all the way.
That's what you need to tell me, cause I'll put my big fat head in the way every time.
Alright, thanks.
You're welcome.
And he didn't even deny it.
Hmm?
He didn't even deny it.
Okay, who needs more time? All right, let's see if you can do the next one by yourself. 2/3 plus 1/5 X equals 5/6.
Sarah, can you work it out on a whiteboard if we run out of room?
Mm-hmm. It's always an option. Okay, Haley, so far so good. Now you gotta get 1x. Okay, DeMarc, do you see any subtraction? I'll walk you through steps. Do you see any parentheses? Okay, do you have the x term by itself on one side and the constants on the other side? Here's your x term. Is it by itself on one side? Nope. What's sitting there eating lunch with him? 2/3 is, right? 2/3 is hanging with him. So what do we need to do? Get rid of him, right? So how do we get rid of positive 2/3? We do,
That.
yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that. We do minus 2/3 on that side.
You're always probably just touching it.
Yep. I'm gonna need a common denominator of 6, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that to 4/6. Did I lose you there? If you're lost, tell me, and I'll show you where I got it from. You need me to show you? Okay, 2/3 is here, but this is in 6. I have to have a common denominator to be able to subtract. So a common denominator between 3 and 6 is 6. So all I did was I take the 2/3 and I turned it into 6. So 2/3, this is times 2, this is times 2, is actually 4/6. Okay? So that gives me 1/5 x equals 1/6.
Is it okay if I put in the decimal version?
Nope, I don't want it as a decimal.
You put both of them, so.
Nope, leave it as a fraction. If I give it to you in fraction form, you need to answer in fraction form. Yeah. All right, so now what's attached to the x? 1/5, how is it attached? So how do we undo it? Dividing by 1/5, but dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So if I multiply this side by 5, and I multiply this side by 5, I get x here equals 5/6. Questions? Nevaeh, are you good? Okay. Yay, he has his iPad.
Took a long time. It did.
It's faster than some of the other ones. Whose was it that they had to, Haley had to redo boot
They
hers.
had to redo,
Like the.
they had to shut hers off.
They had to,
They had to like restart hers. I think she said like 5 or 6 times. They had to try 3 or 4 different iPads. Yeah, she was there when the next 2 or 3 classes came in.
all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Part C. 3/2 equals 4/3 x plus 2/3.
Can I go to office? I have to ask him a question.
Can you wait till we finish this?
Yeah.
Okay. Go to joinpd.com. It doesn't work like that. That lays flat. How do you get it to stand up?
Just pull it back.
You just pull it off. Here. let me see.
One of y'all can.
You just stand right here. There you go.
All right, let me see what you got.
I'm kind of confused.
Okay. I'll walk you through the steps. Do you see any subtraction?
No,
Do you see any parentheses?
no,
Okay. Do you have the variable term by itself?
yes,
No, what's sitting there with it?
oh,
2/3 is hanging with him, right?
mhm,
If you think of that hanger diagram. So that needs to go away before we can solve for 1x. So how do we make 2/3 go away? Subtract 2/3, right?
yes,
All right. Now it looks like we got an issue over here. We've got halves and thirds. What's our common denominator?
6,
So this would be 9/6, and this would be 4/6. So what is 9/6 minus 4/6?
5/6,
Uh-huh. Now what?
We divide by.
Now we can divide by 4/3. And I'll come up here and do that. So I have 5/6 divided by 4/3 is the same thing as multiplied by 3/4. Looks like I can do some canceling. So I get 5/8. So x equals 5/8.
Miss Laird,
Yes, sir.
I rewrote the equation before I did it as 4/3 x plus 2/3 equals 3/2.
Mm-hmm.
How do I turn the 2/3 and give it a common denominator?
You're
to-
still gonna, it's just flipped of what I have. So you're gonna subtract 2/3 from both sides, but yours is gonna be over here. And then you're just gonna change these into a common denominator of 6. So you'll take the 3/2 and make it 9/6. You'll take the 2/3 and make it 4/6. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Chloe, are you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Max looks good. Simone's still writing, so we'll wait a minute.
I put the answer on.
That's fine. All right, Simone's ready? Did you get in, Hayden?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, onward we go.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, all right, I'll go back. There you go. Go ahead and finish up. Are you ready?
No, not yet. I'm almost ready, so.
Josiah, are you writing this down on paper? Okay. All right.
No, I'm ready. Thank you.
Oh, there you are, Josiah. It's all the way in the top row. Looking for you in the bottom row. All right. Now we're not doing fractions, we're doing decimals. The process is exactly the same. Go ahead and do it. Ask yourself those questions. Do you see subtraction? Do you see parentheses? Do you have the variable by itself? So what do you have to do to get the variable by itself?
It's easier to do it in decimal form.
Oh, I know. Nobody likes fractions.
Cause the beat getting up and steal its lunch money.
Okay. Is that the right first step? Okay, so that gives me 0.3x equals 1.2.
Yes.
Okay, now I want to solve for 1x, not 3/10 of an x, so I'm going to divide by 3/10. So x equals,
4.
good job. What questions can I answer?
I need a few more minutes.
Okay. Matthew, do you feel pretty good about that one?
What would we do to find, like, I have it at the step where it's 0.3x equals 1.2, but what would we do after that?
Okay,
Divided.
so these two are connected by multiplication. So to undo multiplication, I use division. So I'm gonna divide it by 0.3. Because 0.3 divided by 0.3 is 1. And that's my goal, is to get 1 positive x. Okay?
So for every problem, would we divide by the,
By itself, by the coefficient, yes.
oh, okay.
Even if it's a fraction, you can divide. I was just jumping to the step of multiplying by the reciprocal. But that's still dividing by the fraction. Okay? All right. Jasmine's still writing. Does it make sense to you, Jasmine?
A little bit,
Okay.
but I
It's the same steps. Okay. 11 3/100 equals 8 78/100 plus 200 x. Okay, do you see any subtraction? Do you see any parentheses? Do you have the variable term, the x term by itself on one side? If you don't, then you need to move whatever is hanging there with it. Think of it like a hanger diagram. Good, Christina. Okay, Jasmine, what's hanging? So Jasmine, what's hanging there with the 0.02x? If I was to draw this as a hanger diagram, I'd have 0.2x here, and then hanging with it, I would have 8.78. And then on this side, I'm gonna have 11.03. So what needs to go away before I can divide? Does this need to go away? So how are we gonna make positive 8 and 78/100 go away? We're gonna subtract it, right? So on both sides, I'm going to subtract 8 78/100. So on this side, that leaves me 2.25, and on this side, I have this left. Okay, now I want 1x. So how do I make anything that's multiplied go to 1?
Divide.
Divide it by itself. So if I divide both sides by 0.02, I get x equals 112.5.
Yes.
Are the steps starting to make more sense to those of you that are struggling with this? The more practice you do, the better you're going to get. If you want to go back and do the gizmos some more, you are welcome to do that. That whole gizmos thing was using manipulatives so that you could see what you're doing. So it makes sense what you're doing. Because just to memorize steps isn't always the best option. All right, I don't think I see anybody still writing. So let's go on.
I just need to finish the last step.
Oops, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see you writing.
Did you say there were 6 or 7 parts?
There's one more problem.
There were 7
This
parts.
shouldn't have taken this long, but that's okay.
Can't see the board.
Whoops, let me get back. Whoops, I went too far back. Let's try this one again. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Are you done? I guess the proper word is, are you finished? Yes. Can you wait till we do the last problem?
Yep, I'm done.
Okay. All right, question 7. If train travels at a constant speed for a long distance, what is constant speed? What alarm does that set off in your head? Unit rate, okay? Write 2 COPs for the relationship between distance traveled and elapsed time. Explain what each of them means. So how are we going to find a COP? Can we do y over x again?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you get?
Wouldn't that be dividing 54 by 1.2?
Yep.
I remember asking you about this last week. I just wanted to make sure I remember.
45.
All right, now what does that 45 mean in this situation?
The distance? Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, so this is going to be, if I write the equation, it's going to be D equals 45T.
45 miles in an hour.
Miles per hour. Now, what is the other COP? How do we find the other COP?
X.
We do X divided by Y.
Y.
So would that be 1 over 45 if we were going this way? Remember, it's just the reciprocal, right? So this equation would be T equals 1 over 45 D. Now what does that mean? 1/45
Of a mile.
of an hour per
Mile.
mile. Now we're making the distance one here. Okay? Wow, that's all the way back to September. That was our 3rd anchor chart.
I don't remember anything from September.
It's right
Can I
there.
also
I can't read
write
that.
it 1/45 D
1/40.
equals T.
It's T equals 1/45 D. That's the equation. But what does it mean? It means 1/45 of an hour per mile. Are we good?
I'm just writing the equation.
All right, I'll wait. Are you good, Matthew?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, are you good, Chloe?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Draw or type 2 things you learned in today's lesson. Go. It'll get sent to you. It's not part of the practice problems, but you need to fill it in.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you learn today? Reviewing angles. Natalie, that's a lovely picture, but that's not what I want. Reviewing COP, yeah. Trying to keep all this stuff in your head. Looking at percentages. It's been a while since we've done those. You're right. How to identify angles without the measurements. That's true. How to find the COP. How to find the value of variables. So working on solving those equations again. Rachel, I like your example. All right, your next steps are you have 2 things assigned to you in Khan Academy. I'll show you how to get to it in a minute. And you need to upload this onto the practice slides. And if you have any missing work or Imagine Math, if you don't have missing work, you always need to get those 2 lessons passed in Imagine Math. And then please do tomorrow's lesson slides before class.
Okay.
Okay.
I just saw my Imagine Math yesterday.
Awesome. All right, is everybody finished putting what they learned so I can send it to you?
Yes.
All right. Let me end this. Peyton, if you will go to the planner on Canvas, I'll show you where the codes are. 3/29. All right. I'm sorry, what? You're doing Khan Academy.
Do you want us to leave the Pear Dash?
Yes, I just shut it down.
Oh, it still doesn't show that you ended it.
Well, that's not good, because I just
There we
told
go.
it to. I guess I have to hit that one more button. All right. Now you can go back. All right. You are, here we go.
Can we leave now?
Yes?
Miss Laird, I actually have a question about the Khan Academy, and I started it
Okay.
before class started.
Click on third floor.
Oh, that's weird.
All right, what's your question, Matthew?
So, I don't know if they, made a bunch of questions and it's randomized, but I'm on question 6 out of 7. It's
They're
finding
all
missing angles.
random. They're all random.
And I can't.
Okay, so I need you to share your screen.
Okay.
So I'll make you co-host. All right, Peyton, let me see if you showed up in Core yet.
I don't know how I would find X.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I'm trying to multitask here. Give me a second.
Miss Laird, you should probably end the recording.
I did.
actually.
No.
Oh, somebody turn that off for me.